Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another special edition where we talk about space. And joining me today is Danny Kim, the galactic explorer who has taken many kids out to space. Hey, Danny, welcome to the show. Tell us a bit about very quickly, Danny. For those who kind of missed the earlier episode, what have you been doing, and how have you become a man of space?
Well, I started out as an entrepreneur in the security realm. I've been doing that for 36 years, but I started out as a parent volunteer at a school that was launching experiments to space. And when I saw that, I thought this is the coolest thing ever. And I quickly went from parent volunteer to full time and running my own nonprofit just to bring other kids the same experience. So that's really it's a passion where I wish I was a kid that had these opportunities. And so I live vicariously through all the experiences that we give to other students in being able to literally touch the International Space Station.
Fantastic. And you're trying to bring this experience to Malaysia, and part of it is to run a space camp that's upcoming on January 20th and 21st here in Kuala Lumpur. But tell us a bit about this whole engaging piece, because part of the journey that you went through was to relook at how education is given to kids, and I think you had a experiment or sort of a process where you actually went to a school and took some of the worst kids in a school in California, right? And totally transform them by your space education. Tell us a little bit about that experience and
Yeah.
and how education can be very empowering.
I think when we all know when you're a kid, the first thing you want to do is get your hands dirty and get your hands into things. When you get a soccer ball, you want to go out and kick it around, and before you learn all the mechanics and rules of playing soccer, you want to just kick it around. So it generates that sense of learning through experience and through hands-on experience. Same thing with music. You pick up you bang on a piano or pick up a recorder. That's the same way of learning. If you present it in science, your learning accelerates, and it actually gives you the ability to retain what you've learned because you're applying it immediately. And so one of the things that we did, and when I went volunteered in the space program, and I saw these top students, they were just motivated to fly their experiment to the International Space Station, and their passion and motivation was literally off the charts. I've never seen anything like this. And so my first thought is, you know what, we need to bring that level of passion and experience to all students, not just the top students, not just the middle tier performing students, but to the underserved community as well. And so when we got our first system launched, we actually were the first ever to be able to create a system that allows students to upload their experiments to an internet connection to the ISS. So this is we're the only program of its kind in the world that allows you to do this. And so I try to test it out and say, hey, can we really excite the underperforming, underserved students? And so, one of the interesting thing I did is as soon as we got it running, the first thing I did was go to a local school in the US that was underperforming school in San Jose, California. And I went to the principal, and this is the crazy part of what I asked him, was like, hey, we're going to give this program to you for free, but here's the catch. I need your worst students. And the principal kind of laughed. He thought I was kidding. And when he realized I was serious, he said, okay, well, there's 14 students in our what we call our Firehouse program. These are kids with 4 Fs or more, so 4 failing grades or more. So they're literally on the verge of failing out of school. And he said, "Go at it." I did a quick presentation, and I in front of the 14 kids, I said, "Hey, how many of you are willing to come to an after-school program? So literally more school. But here's the catch: to fly an experiment to the International Space Station." Do you know how many kids showed up the next week?
I'm sure all of them, right? Oh no, none.
All of them showed up, at least for the first day, because they were smart enough they were savvy. Actually, some of them were actually in gangs and whatnot. So they were kind of like, what's up with this? And so they showed up because of curiosity. That's really the key. And then the first day I said, you know what? class. And we're doing a 2-day workshop. We do 5-day workshops. In that scenario, we had a 30-hour workshop that we were doing. And I say, if you come to every class, and we broke it up in 4 months, once meeting once a week. And long story short, all 14 kids showed up for every class. At the end of the 4 months, they all flew an experiment to space. And documented this. 14 students, their grades went from 4Fs or more B's and C's. And 6 of them were seniors and they had no plans of going to college. All 6 went to college. We were able to actually find full rides for 3 of them. We proved out, and actually, this is the case study that I actually NASA for. The first grant I've ever written, and NASA gave me the grant, and they said, if you're getting these results, take this to as many underserved schools as you can. And so we've been, ever since then, and obviously we generate revenue, we do these camps. We are on a tear trying to get this in front of as many students, and not just the underserved, but even the highest performing, because what it does is it just opens the possibility of what experimentation and learning can be.
And it's not just those students, right? So you took a group of underperforming students and got them engaged and enable them to increase their ability to learn, not just in what they were curious about, but in all other subjects. But you also took a high school or a junior high school team to challenge for the X Prize competition, right? Maybe you can briefly tell us about it, and we can maybe show a little clip about this exciting X Prize that your team. So this is like, okay, you conquered space. Let's look at the ocean, right? So I mean, it's always about curiosity and
once you give kids the ability to do hands-on learning and give them ability to touch something that they thought was impossible. So a lot of the kids that are going to come to these workshops, they're not going to even, they'll have an idea, but they won't know really that they're going to actually be able to do experiments on the International Space Station and get the results back by the next day. Because that type of it doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. We're the only ones who do this. And so when you start to break down the areas of what kids think is impossible, you start to create kids that are able to overcome impossible odds. And so, we actually, a lot of my peers, after they saw what we did at the space program, they said, Danny, you guys conquer space. Why don't you conquer the oceans? And, I was like scratching my head. I was like, what do you mean conquer the oceans? And at that time, there's an organization called X Prize. It's a 29-year-old nonprofit that awards millions of dollars for teams that solve unsolvable problems. So at the time, there was a Ocean Discovery X Prize, $7 million purse prize for the team that could map the ocean floors. So anyways, I had a bunch of high school and junior high students, and it was a 3-year competition. So I literally had to get 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds because otherwise they would have graduated high school by then. And we entered, and one of the things we found out is when we entered is among 100 competitors, we're the youngest team. Actually, there was one team that was boasting that among their team members, they had 120 years of ocean engineering experience. And I added up the ages of our kids. They hadn't even been alive for 120 years. So, talk about the underdog. So we came in as a total underdog. And this is the combination of what it means to teach kids to overcome impossible odds and learn by doing. These kids were learning by doing. We would call people for donations. They would donate equipment that would have otherwise cost $1 million. Companies gave it to us for free. The kids figured out how to learn and patch these things together. And again, long story short, the first year and a half, we became the only junior high school team to make it to a semifinal round. And then by the second year, we became the only junior high school team in X Prize history in 29 years to make it to a final round. And then the finals, the award ceremony was in Monaco in Europe, and they rented out the Oceanic Museum. And essentially, during the award ceremony, they announced us the winner. And we are still the only junior high school team in X Prize history to win an X Prize competition. So, for us, and for the kids and people who are participating in our X Prize program and our space program and everything else, they start to understand, what? Nothing's impossible. And if you teach kids hands-on learning like this, they can overcome impossible odds.
Absolutely. I just want to show a little bit of a trailer on some of the Ocean Quest stuff.
The X Prize is a contest designed to solve some of the world's most difficult problems. X Prize is setting its sights on a new frontier.
We were actually the only team ever in X Prize history composed of junior hires and high schoolers.
You have no idea what you're up against.
When the other team came in, we were definitely surprised. Like, we knew that we were going to be younger than most, but we didn't expect to be that much younger.
3, 2, 1. Shoot, it's gonna crash. Is it coming back up? Please tell me it's coming back up.
And we've lost AUV. It's turned off.
We don't know what's going wrong. That's the whole reason why we're trying to figure it out.
There's a configuration warning with the program. When does it reset?
For the bonus prize winners who will be receiving an award of $800,000, please welcome.
All right, we're done. Peace out, guys.
They look so much younger than I even remember. That was 6-7 years ago.
Yeah, 7 years ago. So you took a team to win the prize. But I mean, today you help a lot of kids basically reach out to space. Recently you did a program in Malaysia, and a couple of months ago, I think you took 19 kids, and there was an exclusive article in the Star that basically shared how you basically piloted taking 19 kids to do experiments in space, right? So I mean, this is probably the first time in Malaysian history, I guess, that Malaysian kids have basically got an opportunity to do stuff in space. That's a breakthrough. And we have a small recap of some of the highlights of the kids going through space. So let's watch this, and we can talk a little bit about that and what you're trying to do with this 2-day program at the SpaceQuest. So that was a couple of months ago, and in 2 months' time, it will be a 2-day camp where you're going to bring in kids, and the kids are all going to come, and we're going to go through that, but plus a lot more, right? I mean, the July 19 program, I think, was just a couple of hours, right? 3-4 hours. So, and it was a pilot program. The kids were super thrilled. I mean, there's so many kids are all saying, "We want more, we want more, we want more." Tell us a bit about what's upcoming for this SpaceQuest camp that's coming up on January 20th and 21st.
Yeah, no, I think what the workshop will do, the space camp, is give the kids the ability to not only experience space, but actually do a science experiment and upload it to the International Space Station and get the results back the next day. but also learn in the process, learn programming, robotics. We're going to have a theme where there's a storyline of you doing science experiments, getting a Mars rover out to protect your space station, and then protecting the space station from hackers and pirates. But all the while learning concepts of programming and robotics, science, cybersecurity. I mean, it's a way to learn all of these phenomenal topics, but in such a fun way and engaging way. What I see is students are just more self-motivated because they are so excited about what the end results are. And then, on the second day, we'll do a little series of competitions, robotics competitions and cybersecurity competitions where you'll hack into each other's robots. So again, it just makes it a very engaging, hands-on way of learning, but also in groups, not just alone, but in teams as well, and competing in different teams. So getting to know everyone else and being able to kind of get that collaborative team-based experience. And so it's going to be a fun time, and I'm really looking forward to it.
So just quick details. I mean, it's happening 20th and 21st. It's thanks to Hub University, who's hosting us. There's a couple of early bird promotions that happen for the next couple of weeks. So you want to, and I do believe there are students coming in from Singapore, from Vietnam, and a couple other countries that are flying in to be part of this. And I assume a lot of Malaysian students will also be part of this, taking our experiments to space. And really, it's split in three ways. My understanding, right? The 10 to 12-year-olds have sort of their own modules. The 13, 14-year-olds, and then the 15, 16-year-olds have their own modules. So there are three different set of modules that are happening. Maybe you can briefly share a little bit about how that sort of works out.
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure we had age-appropriate levels of engagement. I mean, we'll all be in the room together when we first start, and there'll be a keynote on the exciting things of how we got here. But as we break out into the different groups, we give different challenges. So we'll go over different levels of the ISS program, different levels of robotics. So you're going to build portions of your robots. You're going to tweak it and modify it and customize it so you can do the different competitions and challenges. And at the high school level, we're going to actually dive into one section of teach you how to do one section of cybersecurity hacking. So you can actually learn how to hack and block different teams' ability to come in and hack into your environment. So a lot of learning packed into 2 days. Obviously this is a precursor because we're doing kind of the first initial experiment, initial robotics planning, and initial cybersecurity portion of all the different areas. We then, you will then graduate onto a longer base program, 5 days or more as you go deeper and deeper. But this will give you a great foundational element of learning all of these aspects and really doing experiments in robotics and cybersecurity in each of the fields.
Fantastic. And you can always look to SpaceQuest.Asia. So check out this website, SpaceQuest.Asia, and I think you will see more details on what this curated 2-day STEM bootcamp is all about. And again, Help University, Quest for Excellence, then and others. So you'll be able to see details of cadet training, which is the 10 to 14, and then the sort of mission to Mars, and also where the special 15, 16-year-olds will get command center training, which will be really an additional piece that will be happening. And again, it's 9 to 5, 2 days at Help University, and you can register at SpaceQuest.Asia directly. So check that out, and we will be looking forward to having you, Danny, here. But you also do this, after the camp. I think there's going to be programs. There's going to be some sort of continuity, right, in terms of enabling the kids to continue to engage in programs. And I think you've started some of this in the Middle East with UAE and a couple of others, right? I'm just going to show a quick little promo video from the UAE on some of the stuff that you do out there with the schools over there. So here's a quick snapshot of what's happening in the UAE. So it's starting everywhere, and Malaysia, we want to be one of the pioneers in terms of bringing space education to as young as, I think you start even very young, right? 5, 6 years old, right, Danny? Is where you
Yes.
start in many schools, and it's really inspiring the kids to a life of STEM, a life of exploratory, a life of curiosity, a life of trying to engage and trying to do inspiring things, right? So if you have any sort of advice you want to impart to schools out there and parents, I mean, what sort of advice would you impart to them?
I think one of the hardest part, and I talk to a lot of schools and parents, is motivating your kids to want to learn. Sometimes they're forced to go, and their whole aspect of learning is based on grades, and that could be one level of motivation. But if you can motivate their internal motivator to be excited about what they're learning, they're going to actually learn at an accelerated pace, and that's what we've been seeing. And so what this does is actually just ignites a sense of excitement for STEM. And so for schools, we've seen schools that have done our workshops and our programs, their signups for internal STEM programs skyrockets, because after they go to a space camp or things like that, they come back and say, hey, I want to now learn more things. What else can I learn? What else can I get involved in? And schools see a renewed interest in STEM. And for the parents, there's nothing better than to create a innate desire to learn and a curiosity. Once you ignite that curiosity and the desire for learning will carry you all the way through. And that's really the best motivator to having kids wanting to learn. So it's a great way to kickstart and the passion and interest in STEM for your kids.
Fantastic. And so Space Camp's coming, SpaceQuest Camp is coming. It's you can register at spacequest.asia. And this is a partnership between Quest for Excellence, which is Danny's organization, Leadonomics, and also Help University, who's partnering with us to host the event in their space. And I think one of the things you always say, space is for everyone. So why is space for everyone? And I know you want kids involved, you want parents involved, you want educators involved, you want entrepreneurs to start looking at space as an opportunity for new business and new discovery. You kind of say that. Maybe you can kind of share a little bit on why you say space is for everyone.
Well, first of all, space captures the imagination of everybody. Everything from movies to music, to every aspect of science. If you walk up to a kid in the street and say, hey, would you like to send an experiment to space? No one's going to say no, because it's just so exciting and so aspirational. The other part is the space economy is increasing. The commercial space flights, the space experiment and operations, it's just expanding. As we travel around our planet, the next natural evolution is to keep exploring beyond it. And in order to do that, it requires every aspect of not just engineering, but business and innovations that need to come in every aspect. And so everything from biology, biotech, plant science, food science, all of this is going to be innovative and enhanced with space. And so it really is a great motivator for all different learning about all different industries. And we've had students from our classes, and obviously we've been doing this for a long time. So I've seen kids who have taken our courses and programs go on to MIT and Stanford and all these best colleges, but also into careers that are in the space realm. So we have people who work for NASA, who work for SpaceX, and not just that, but also go into biology and medicine and technology and engineering and robotics. So it's a great way to just kick off kind of this career-driven mindset for students to know that, hey, this engineering and STEM could be really exciting.
Yeah, and yesterday we were having a conversation with a couple of folks at the French embassy, and I mean they're excited to bring a French astronaut out to Malaysia sometime in 2024. So I think it's generating a lot of excitement. We see a lot of partnerships formulating. I mean, there's a lot. I never knew we had so many entrepreneurs in Malaysia actually exploring space. So we found a whole number of startups that are actually exploring space and space technology, and they're all excited about SpaceQuest that's upcoming. So they're all going to be there. We're going to try to bring all these entrepreneurs. We're going to try to bring as many as folks that are involved in space technology or exploring space or trying to figure out how to build businesses for space, over there. And the other thing I think that's going to be exciting at SpaceQuest, we'll be actually having a parenting session. So, and this will be completely complimentary, where while the kids go and enjoy themselves at the space camp, and they, you kind of have them there from 9 to 5, we'll be actually having parents with different workshops with prominent folks like Dr. Goh Chi Leong, Zaid Muhammad, and others who are parenting experts, to kind of give you a sense of how do you help grow your kid, develop them, manage them, kind of deal with all their issues and challenges, especially if you have many teenagers like me. And ultimately, there's going to be bazaars, and there's going to be space, enrichment centers, and all the others that are going to be like a big bazaar out there at the Help University, and also at the school next door. So there's going to be it's going to be a fabulous weekend. Block it, even if you don't have kids, and you can't sign up any kid for the camp, feel free to come out and hang out there, because it's going to be a place where there'll be a lot of, I guess there's many social enterprises will be having foods and other sort of things that'll be sold, and that you can take advantage of and have a fun weekend out at Subang Bestari at the Help University campus over those 2 days. So block your calendars. Again, Space Camp, if you have kids or you know of kids, sign them up. It's coming up. Space Boot Camp. Let me give you a bigger thing at Help University. There's an early bird for $680, and you can register at SpaceQuest.Asia. So you can register there, and there's a QR code. You can scan that QR code, and you should be able to be taken there also. So with that, Danny, as we tail end of this show, as we close out, I know we talk a lot about space. But what advice would you impart to parents? I mean, not just in relation to space, but I know you've kind of helped grown. Your kids kind of grown up. You did it. Kind of inspired them into STEM. I know your son was part of the X Prize team that went out and won the X Prize. So a lot of experiences. Being a parent yourself and kind of graduating now. Essentially, what advice would you impart to parents as we close out, as we wrap up this show?
I think one of the things I noticed the biggest difference in the way my kids learned, and they went on to engineering jobs and Ivy League schools and whatnot. But the thing that made the biggest difference is I gave them every opportunity to have freedom to explore and freedom to learn. And so that freedom and play time and learning time for them to learn and explore on their own is so critical. And so, that's one of the things that we're really trying to capture here in the space camp. And while still learning a lot of very important things, but, having that freedom to learn and explore, that's what I think the kids really need in order for them to excel. So again, it's I'm looking forward to it. I absolutely, as you can tell, I derive a lot of energy from just watching these kids, and it's hard to explain because I've done these sessions all around the world, and every time I do it, the kids literally are so excited, they're jumping up and down. It is literally hard to describe, but that excitement comes from the fact that they are learning by playing, and they're learning by exploring. And that type of energy that's why if you're a parent, you can even stick around and watch. It's really fun to watch because you can see how engaged your kids will become. And that's infectious.
Wow, fantastic. So look forward to that. And see, David Kim says so exciting. So I think, as we wrap today up, just a quick reminder, if you want more information, you can contact Azriel at azriel.rossley@Revolutionizing, and his mobile number is there. Space Camp's coming up, 10 to 16-year-olds, January 20th to 21st is at Help University. You can scan this QR code or go to SpaceQuest.Asia, and you should be able to get access to it. Danny, thank you so much for being with us today. Look forward to catching up with you in a couple of weeks when you come out here, and I think you're going to be here for almost 12 days or so. So it's going to be exciting, and lots of interesting things are going to happen. And we look forward to that session. Thank you again, and bye-bye, everyone. Take care.